program is the Waupaca City Plan Commission meeting.
Today is Wednesday, April 5th, 2023. It's 5:15 p.m. I'll call this meeting to order. First thing on the agenda is to approve the agenda. So I just need a motion to approve the agenda as printed.
Move to approve.
Second.
Motion by Ivan, second by Eric, that we approve the agenda as printed. Discussion. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Against, say no. Motion carried. We have minutes from the March 1st, 2023 meeting. We just need to place these on files, and we do that with a motion to approve those. So we need a motion to approve.
So moved.
Motion by Dana, second by Henry, that we approve the, sorry for being informal tonight. I should use your last names, I guess. Approve the minutes of the meeting. Discussion. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Against, say no. Motion carried. On to action items. Certified survey map, Kristen Kane Ashby, 1126 Ware Street. Jarrett, you're on.
Thank you very much. So this one starts on page 4 of your packets. It is the certified survey map showing the lot of the parcel division, which is why it is coming to Plan Commission and then Council. So this lot is a bit unique, as currently it is triple zoned. I've been working with them to get their primary lot rezoned to accommodate their single-family home that is on it. They had talked with me further and said that they would eventually like to have her husband's business move closer to home, which was somewhat of a industrial land use, which fit in right next to the rest of the industrial land use that is to the west. So working with her, one of those triple zone zones is I-2. So I had notified her that before the zoning change goes through, she may want to section off a small piece that could be used for that industrial land use. And then once that is completed, rezone the remainder of the lot to R1 in which it should be. So that's what you're seeing here today, a parcel split into 2 lots. The one lot, the smaller one in the corner, lot 1, would end up staying I-2, and then lot 2 as a whole is looking to be rezoned to R1 to accommodate the single-family home that is on it.
How did you find this? I mean, did it come from her? Otherwise, we wouldn't have.
So it was on my radar as one of the dual zoned or triple zoned or quad zoned parcels in the city. But she had they had recently purchased the parcel. They had wanted to put up a fence, which again the zoning didn't really need to be changed for that. But then the thing that sparked it is they wanted to add a detached garage, and then they also wanted to have chickens. So that's really where it started. To do that, they needed to be one singular zone so that we could properly do the setbacks, et cetera, site plan. So that's really what sparked it, but I knew about it at least. And then the lot division and kind of the whole rezone was their idea, as when they had approached or came back to me about the rezone, she had mentioned about the business prospect for her husband.
So this is trying to figure out where this home is on Ware Street.
So actually right to the right, or right to the right of this parcel, or to the east is the Waupaca Country Club. To the south is the Waupaca River.
See where Ware Street crosses the railroad tracks? You know where that is. You've been across it 8 billion times.
Yeah,
Guzman's on the other side.
their driveway shares that roadway with the Waupaca Country Club.
Yeah, that entrance right into the country club. It's kind of tucked back in the woods, right?
Yeah.
You
So
can't
it's the
hardly
one
see
on
it.
the right there
Yeah,
as you go in?
yeah,
Oh, great. So a rooster's going to be
yeah, yeah,
in
that's
my
what I'm thinking.
backswing?
We don't allow roosters.
Nice.
Rooster killed by golf ball.
Golf ball. I'll bring my gun. No, I didn't say that. Erase that.
Yeah, you couldn't hit a rooster with a golf ball. I've seen you golf.
And you've seen me shoot too, so I couldn't hit that either. All right, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to get carried away here. So we just need, you're recommending that we approve this.
Yes, recommending approval, and then your recommendation would go to the council.
Okay, so we would need it, if you're okay, we would need a motion to recommend this to council, the certified survey map.
I have a question, Mayor.
Oh, I'm sorry, Justin.
That's fine. So it has on here the north 60 feet is required for highway purposes, and it's got a document number. Can you or Rhonda get that document for me so I can review that, please?
Yes, I can.
All right, thank you.
Well, I suppose that's still Highway K there. On where?
No, it's
No, it's not even.
it's overlapping Gulf Lane or Gulf Road, which we've shared maintenance with the country club. There's a line right there, and I believe that's where it shuts off, or the maintenance is. But I mean, it seems like this document captures that just fine. But I just want to double check this other one before it's approved by council.
So, before you approve it at council. So you're okay though with us
Yes.
recommending to
Yeah.
council?
All right, I would make that motion to recommend to council that we approve the certified survey map.
Second?
Motion by Olson, second by Wayne, that we approve or recommend to council the certified survey map for 1126 Ware Street. Discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Against, say no. Motion carried. Ordinance number 03-2023. This is an amendment to chapter 17.313, parent 2, parent A, accessory dwelling units. Jarrett, you're up again?
Yeah, so this one starts on page 7 of your packets. This is an ordinance change. In the past, you may remember we did the ordinance change for the lot standards. Out of the many that we've had, I apologize. Part of that lot standards change in the past involved adjusting the height requirements within those tables. In the specific section of code for accessory dwelling units, which kind of doubles some of the information that's in those tables, in this specific case, they do point out the height. So this section is just changing that height, or the height in this specific section of the code as it pertains to accessory dwelling units, to match the height requirements in the lot standards table in another section. So it's more of a cleanup of something that was already approved, just making sure everything matches.
Okay. Everybody understand what's going on here? Again, this would just be recommended to council?
Yes.
And we don't need a public hearing on this?
Public hearing will come at council.
Okay,
Yep.
all right.
We might have a number of ordinances for public
You may.
hearing. If it was appropriate, Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to recommend to council that we hold public hearing and ultimately adopt, I guess, ordinance 03-23.
Okay, we have a motion by Veliker,
I'll second.
second by Lesage, that we, I got it right? Ordinance number 03-23, and recommend this to council, as well as have a public hearing. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Against, say no. Hey, Henry, will you pull your microphone in
Oh,
front of you?
okay, sure, thanks, Ray.
Yep. Next up is ordinance number 04-2023. This is amendment of chapter 17.101, creation of chapter 17.160 APD, Airport District, and repeal chapter 17.304, airports. Jarrett, you can always make something complicated. So, go
I
ahead.
apologize in advance. Got to keep you guys on your toes, though.
Yeah.
So this one is actually one that had brought forward, I believe, last meeting. This is in regards to the creation of a separate airport zoning district. So currently, as it stands, our airport is zoned agricultural, which under the old zoning code did work. It was I believe, a special use under the agricultural district. With our new zoning code and kind of how we're structuring it, the agricultural district does place a lot of restrictions on the airport that just really hinder possible development. advertising of flight mechanics, flight schools, things like that that really are essential elements for our airport to function and prosper. So trying to work with Matt Klatt, who is our airport manager, to create a separate airport district that would allow a little more flexibility, pass some of the control on to the airport manager, as I, as a zoning administrator, obviously have some knowledge, but passing some of those more airport-related questions or airport-related decisions onto him, somebody who manages an airport, aviation is his life, makes a lot more sense. So kind of sharing or sending over some of that control to the airport manager, allowing for signage. So under the current zoning district, signage is not allowed. So we had to go through a bunch of extra special steps to just get signage approved. There were really no set standards in place. So this part of this ordinance would set some standards for signage at the airport for those businesses or entities that would like one, as well as just some other general standards, lighting, to try to make everything cohesive. Landscaping, requiring landscaping, but making sure that it's airport cohesive, things like that. So just a general airport zoning district that allows some more flexibility, allows for the airport manager to have some more say, and just, I think, something that will really help our airport grow.
Thanks, Jared. Anybody have any questions? Yeah, go ahead.
Well, first off, Jared, I just want to compliment you because I really like how you give us the ordinance and then you redline the actual code. So, and it really makes it much easier to kind of follow the proposal. To be honest with you, group, I don't know how I feel about giving up too much control. I think there's a balance. The temporary signage and that kind of stuff, but we're going to potentially give up. And I'm not to say that the airport manager doesn't have good taste, but I don't know. I'm not sure how I feel about that. And I think to put the decision down closer to the person that's closer to it makes a lot of sense and makes it more efficient. But in our time here, we got a big red hangar door out there that nobody really knew about. And it was against our standards. And again, it was way back, and in the bigger scheme of things, probably no big deal. But I don't know. I'm not sure how I feel about it, if there's some kind of reasonable balance. Because ultimately, it is the city's airport, and then we're responsible for it. So.
Yeah, I mean, in terms of lot leases, all of that still comes forward.
Yeah.
There is still shared control, I guess. Fully relinquishing control isn't probably the best. I probably misspoke when I said that, but a lot of the things reviews would require, community development as well as the airport manager, the airport board, et cetera.
Yeah.
So there are still a fair amount of reviews, just trying to cut out some of the inefficiencies, I guess, like you said. But there is some relinquishing of control or sharing of control.
Do you guys pull the airport manager in on your team meetings and department head meetings occasionally?
We do, yeah.
So there's a way to coordinate at that level.
Yep.
So
And
the left hand knows what the right hand's doing, I guess.
Yep. And the airport manager has been very communicative, responsive to.
Yeah. Oh, he
any-
seems very square away and a really
any
nice
meeting, so.
addition, but we could have a different airport manager in 5 years too.
Certainly could.
Well,
And-
and that's a good point, Henry. We got to remember that we're not talking about Matt Klatt forever here. I mean, he works with us and he's awesome, but who knows what we're going to get in the future. So I don't necessarily, I actually agree with Henry here, and I'd hate to see the planning commission completely blocked out of something, because this is our job to make sure that our city is following all the guidelines that we have set up in the future and also in the past too. So I'm not sure how I feel about it either, quite honestly. So, but this is something that we also will recommend to council, so we can have more discussion there, but also city planning should weigh in on it too, because maybe we're wrong.
Jared, could you give us an example of something that would change, like if we do go forward with this ordinance, like an example of what wouldn't come to us that would have previously, or?
Yeah, so right now, or the current ordinance states, special authority at airport, after review and recommendation by the airport board, plan commission, and city council, airport property owned by the city may be leased to allow for the development of business, industries, or other development opportunities that are compatible with the use of the entire properties in municipal airport. That's as it currently reads. To be honest, that lease is coming forward. I don't actually know if it was coming forward to plan commission, but the lease that was coming forward states nothing of the use. It is just a land lease. So the information actually coming forward right now, in terms of zoning and what information it would provide you if it were to come here, I think it was skipping plan commission. It really is minimal. Through the new ordinance, we would be requiring them to do a use application. So that would come through, similar to a change of use like in the downtown district, which actually does not come here either. So, 102 North Main just sold. If it transitions to a business, that would be an internal review, change of use, building going to a building. So a use application would be required for the airport now, and that would just be to make sure it is compatible. It doesn't have a negative effect on the environment. Traffic that being generated is, not negative.
But
Then
give us an example. Sorry, I'm coming off of Angela's question too.
Yeah.
So let's use the red door as an example. I mean, in the future, if somebody was to do that and it didn't meet what we felt, I just explain how that would go.
yeah, so if say a new hangar were to go up, would be a good example. So new hangar goes up. The new hangar will need a building permit. It will still need a site plan permit for those new constructions, new hangar construction or whatever construction out there. That would be something that could come to plan commission, or it could be internal. I guess once this is passed, that would have been a discussion, or if it is passed, that would be a discussion on if the plan commission would like to see those developments or not. Any new development, we are creating a master plan, and there is a overall airport master plan or layout plan that we have currently that just states, where the select hangars are, and if you go on any aerial, you can actually see kind of where they slotted out for those hangars. But any new development would need to follow that master plan or that layout plan. So that is one thing that the master plan will get approved by plan commission and council. So that would just be a plan that we're following. But in terms of like red door hangar, for example, I assume the color is what you were referencing.
Yeah, I think there was something in there where there was some discretion as long as it was tasteful and it fit in with the overall
Yeah, so
aesthetic of the airport. I know we were very strict at one time about
yeah.
the earth tones colors out there.
Yeah, so in 2B, it says colors shall be selected in general harmony with existing airport buildings. The use of bright colors shall be limited and used only as an accent. So, there is some interpretation of what are bright colors. Obviously, no neon, no bright yellow, nothing that would indicate, or be confused with airport traffic signals. I believe it's a pretty bright red that's out there. So that would probably be discouraged, whereas maybe a darker tone maroon could be okay, but primarily the intent is to kind of stick with those blander colors, airport, beige and tan and
I
like that.
interrupted you, Angela. Did he answer your question?
Kind of.
I guess
Can I ask an example? Maybe that would help.
Sure.
I'm not sure. Okay, let's say, for example, somebody so this would only be on the airport, right?
correct.
So any property that is adjacent or contiguous to the airport is still under the control of planning commission, city council,
Yes.
right? So it's only property that's on the airport. So
Yes.
the only thing that can really go on the airport would be hangars.
Would be hangars. So the FAA, not FFA, FAA, they do have a lot of standards that the airport must follow. So to have a hangar at the airport, I forget the ratios. It needs to be a certain percentage of aviation use. Sure, you can park your collector car in there. You can have a small little mini fridge with a few couches and hangout area, stuff like that. But the primary use of the hangar has to be for aviation, and that is a strict rule that you could lose your pilot's license and things like that if you're incorrectly using the airport lands. Outside lands will for sure be same status as anything else. The storage units that had come up, they would come through Plan Commission, be approved by Plan Commission. If it required a conditional use, it would go to Plan Commission and Council. In terms of the airport, it's really just going to be FAA approved uses per their regulations. And then, as I had mentioned before, it's really going to need to be cohesive with that master plan that we're creating and the layout plan. So it's restricted in two ways, I guess,
Yeah.
if that makes sense. And then the council and plan commission will have a hand in approving that airport master plan.
Okay. So going back then, let's remember, because I started thinking outside, all the property out there, and now I'm back to the airport, and there isn't a whole lot that's on the airport ground that really pertains to this.
When you're looking at the airport too, for say like we were exploring the option of solar panels, that would be a big item that would come to plan commission, council. We would hear a lot about it. All other land really around the runways is not developable, within the airport property at least. You're really just looking at over by the terminal where they have those hangar spaces already slotted out. And then if the property were to ever expand to the east more. So there really is limited developable land as is, which is also a factor.
Justin, you were going to say something.
Yeah, I think where I was getting hung up, and I think other people were, is the property, the airport that this applies to. So on Commercial Drive, we approve those storage sheds, and there's that line, and everything to the east, directly east and west of that, is private property. So that would not fall underneath this, but it would fall underneath our regular plan commission rules. Single family doesn't usually come here. Commercial would. So outside of that, if it's governed by FAA, it's going to be pretty much a hangar, which might be the foundry redoing their hangar and maybe the city redoing its terminal. But even then, I could see this terminal coming back here. So,
And yeah, if the terminal were to come, it would be a capital project. We'd see plans and.
I'm going to bring up one thing just to throw a wrench in this whole thing. So the way it's set up now, yes, to probably hangar or terminal. However, when we talk about this master plan, we have talked about utilizing area potentially, just visionary stuff, right, for like through the fence housing actually on airport property, just because that has been a conversation. So there could be things in the future, I'm just saying, that are not a hangar.
So the fly through the fence or the through the fence housing could not be on the airport property. We would have to get it removed from the airport.
It would have to be removed.
Correct.
Okay.
And anything, you couldn't actually place a house on airport land, but directly off. And I think, how through the fence housing would work is you just have a single entry point, that would come down to the taxiway.
Good point. Yes.
So.
Thank you. Okay. Okay, and just for clarification, so if a hangar's coming forward next month, and let's say this version of the code is in, that site plan does not come to plan commission.
So that would be up to you. So similar to how you had given, Plan Commission had given control for like the change of uses that they don't need to come here. They don't. For projects that, how is it phrased? For essentially projects that are not going to cause an issue, they're not going to cause heartburn for anyone. An industrial building is adding, 300 square feet of additional offices because their boss wanted windows that overlooks the rest of the yard. Wouldn't come here just because it's already being used for that. They're just expanding offices. Not really much going to come from it. Why would we hold up their project kind of thing? So with this, if this was passed, I guess it would be my intent to bring them forward until I was told it's not really necessary. Or if the Plan Commission instructed staff to, if it's a hangar like all the rest, we don't need to see it. Just put it in your report kind of thing. So
I think what I really like about this is that the airport manager actually has a say in what's going on out there. Like you said before, he and she are the ones that really know what's going on and what people want. We don't want to cheapen the airport, but we do want people to use the airport. So. Yeah, I tell you the truth, under further review here, I don't have to throw the red flag here. I think I'm okay with it now, recommending it to council.
For the record, Brian, I still have a little reticence,
Okay,
but, that's fine.
okay.
I think it's good that they're involved. But you got an aviation specialist, and I'm an aviation guy, and I want my sign to go perpendicular out, doesn't allow. Well, it's not so big, help the guy out. City people won't know about it. Or it's not supposed to go 8 inches out from the wall. But you got a really spectacular new sign and it's a foot out from the wall. Little things like that.
And we still have full control. So like if something like that were to happen, we can put it.
You can go back, and it's always hard to reinforce something once it's done.
Correct.
But I'm fine. I guess it just seems like you got aviation guy making zoning and planning decisions sometimes, and if they're brought along and stuff, that's great. But I don't know. It seems a little incongruent to me. But that's my opinion on it. All right. Thank you, Mayor. Said my piece.
Yeah, no, that's good. Anybody else? Any comments? I mean, our option here is we can, do you have anything else, Justin? Or no, you're good? Okay. Our options here are that we can recommend this to council. We haven't made a motion on this one yet, right? Okay. We can recommend this council, or we can table this and bring it up, think about it for a month and then bring it back. I don't think there's any real urgency to this.
Not with this one.
So if you're uncomfortable, if you're not uncomfortable and you want to recommend to council, obviously council will also get to talk about it too, so.
I would say, just for me to speak, let's just move it forward. There'll be other options, opportunities to discuss. Let's try to be efficient with what we're trying to do here, because there's a lot of work, for the Plan Commission. So I would be fine, Mayor, with commission members. I would shoot it forward, and we can talk about further down the road.
Okay. Anybody want to make that motion?
I'll make the motion to recommend approval to council.
We have a motion by Olson,
I'll second.
second by Gusky, that we recommend ordinance number 0423 to council. Further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Against? Motion carried. We are now down to ordinance number 05-2023. This is a creation of chapter 17.322, short-term rentals. Garrett?
Yeah, and I'm just going to point out, so about 5 minutes left in this meeting, just before we have to wrap up for council. Intention is to, if there's anything that's left, we'll have the last couple minutes to table, but we'll get through as much as we can. So This next one is on page 15 of your packets. This is for short-term rentals. So as part of our zoning updates and some state mandates that put through, either you allow short-term rentals or you don't. And the intent is that if you do allow them, you just put forward some general standards so that you can enforce anything that is going wrong with them. And if you don't allow them, you don't have to worry about it. Now, with short-term rentals being a benefit to the Waupaca community, also could be a hindrance if they are, not being properly run. But seeing them more as a benefit, our intention to keep them as permitted uses or permitted accessory uses to residential, and then putting forward some standards in place that could govern over this land use. Little bit of how do I want to say it? A little bit of handcuffs here, as there are certain legal items that you can and can't do in regards to these. So for this one in particular, I utilized a municipal code that was already in place, and I also sent this to Steve Sorensen. He provided his comments and input, and then this is what we're bringing forward. So just some general standards on the operation of short-term rentals, what's going to be required for you to have a short-term rental, and then just some general standards, a general inspection. There shouldn't be excessive noise, fumes, glare, vibration. The number of occupants needs to meet Wisconsin state code, no recreational vehicles. Those are just general. Guest register. And then, any fees, things like that. So it's a pretty general and bare bones, but I think it does allow for us to properly regulate the short-term rentals, without overstepping our bounds, I guess. So happy to take any questions. Again, this was something reviewed by Steve. He had noted to add a couple of things, take a couple of things out, reword things. So.
I have a few comments.
Sure.
I think they're a bit restrictive in my opinion. Have we had issues with short-term rentals largely in the city?
We haven't specifically, but that's not to say if we don't, or if we do, we wouldn't be able to do anything with it, or if we don't, not that we ever will, I guess. But we haven't really had any up to now.
Okay.
And it is a relatively new thing.
Okay.
I think we actually only have about 7 or 8 in the city at the moment.
I felt like on number 3, point B, I felt like that was kind of, most of those things seem like they would already be in the ordinances for the city. So I don't know why I would have to restate them unless that's important.
We wouldn't. It was just more to specifically state it in here, just so that it is blatantly obvious that these things are not allowed. Mm-hmm. Easier to, if you did need to enforce something, it's easier to do so right out of the accessory or the short-term rentals ordinance itself.
Okay. I thought F was also a little bit, like, say they have to be available within 1 hour of a renter moving in. I mean, if there's an emergency, wouldn't you kind of expect them to be calling 911 or?
It would be more like a broken water pipe, no water heater, deer breaks through the patio door, okay. Non-police related incidents.
Okay.
I'm wondering what kind of vibrations are you worried about on B?
That would be something like if you had a bachelor party and they had a bunch of speakers and were playing very loud music.
But doesn't that fall under excessive noise?
It would, but if you did something like the bass, inside the house, it could be causing vibrations.
Rattling windows, that sort of thing? Yeah.
Yep.
I got you. All right.
That's one example off the top of my head.
Party I want to go to. Some good speakers.
You'd be on Foxfire on Saturday nights.
And this is one, again, there isn't again, like Angela had pointed out, there isn't a huge that needs to be adopted right now, just something that was in the lineup that we were, should follow up on with the other zoning changes that had come through. So something that we can table, think about more, you can ask more questions, we can take a look at it again.
Just have a general observation. It appears that about 70% of this is already regulated through either county or state laws, so to speak, or ordinances that govern short-term rentals.
Mm-hmm.
Would you say?
It would just give us more power to do something about it.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
And I think, we have to be concerned with the impact to the neighborhood and our year-round residents and stuff. So I think there's probably a good reason to have it, but maybe there's a little overreach on it. I don't know. I just worry when we put in regulation how the public knows. Somebody moves in town after the thing's adopted. Oh, EAA's coming. Boom, 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 boom. I'm going to put my rental up.
Yeah, and it is difficult. I mean, that does happen. But it also happens with a bunch of the other city ordinances as well.
Yeah,
So
I get it.
it's a difficult one.
So who enforces this?
We would enforce that. It's, community and economic development.
Your office.
Yep. Unless you'd like to.
I like to go say good things. I mean, I do think it's important that we do know where there are short-term rentals in the community. I mean, they're subject to sales tax and room tax, so we're actually helping the state and us with the room tax dollars too. So I like those things. I agree. So, I mean, I think we need something there for sure. So, anybody have any thoughts on, do we want to think about this a little bit more? Are we okay with it? Bring it forward now that Jared has explained things?
I mean, I have a question if we have time.
Yeah, go ahead, Ivan.
3H, are you saying that they need to provide it at least once a year, or that registry just needs to be on hand? Because I'm thinking like all the extra work that a host would have to do from an Airbnb or a VRBO standpoint. If I was approached as a host, I could easily get that information to you. But are you asking that all of them within the city once a year have to bring it forward?
That's a great question. I would have to verify through the Wisconsin Administrative Code what that exactly requires. I guess my thought when putting that in there is just that it is available for the last year.
Okay.
If somebody came forward, the city needed something, the police needed some sort of register to see who was there, they would have it for the series of the past year, September to September, or November to November.
Needed, but they don't have to bring it forward.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, really, the city would have no purpose for looking at it other than congratulating them on how many people they have, I guess. But
Okay. I'm more comfortable with that.
Anybody else? We don't want to rush this, of course, so, again, there's probably no urgency, although we're getting closer to summer, so they'll be used more. So,
I guess, yeah, can we think about it?
yep. So can we get a motion to we started talking about this one, so can we get a motion to just table this till the next planning commission meeting?
Yeah, I'll move that we table this for a later meeting.
Second.
Yeah, we got a motion by Olson, second by Wayne, that we table this discussion until the next city planning commission meeting in May. And then I guess we are also going to hold off on E and F and 4 and 5.
5 is just reports, so feel free to take a look, reach out if you have any questions. E and F, if I would just make a general comment, just feel free to take a look at those. They're in ordinance format. If you have any general comments, shoot me via email. I can have answers for you at the next plan commission meeting then.
Okay. And the grass isn't growing yet.
Grass is not growing yet, so there's still time.
Go ahead.
We had a motion. I don't want to get us too sidetracked. We had a motion by Eric.
Table it.
Do we need a
Didn't
second?
we vote it on it? Yeah, Ivan.
I did.
Ivan
Oh, I'm
seconded.
sorry.
Seconded it.
Okay.
Maybe I didn't call for a roll call. or a
Sorry, I missed
voice
that part.
vote.
Thank you.
Did I?
No.
You said second, but I don't think we voted.
Okay,
Okay.
sorry, guys.
Were you going to have them include those other items in the
Yeah, we might as
tabling?
well, if you don't mind, Eric.
Yeah, yeah,
and Ivan,
perfect.
Can we
Yep.
just add
Table-
those others?
table the others as well, yep.
Okay,
Yeah.
That we
So
can-
seconded.
thank you. All right. I'm on top of it. All right, you know what the vote is, or the motion is? Let's vote. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Against, say no. Thanks, Justin. So we're looking for a motion to adjourn then.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second?
Motion by Lesage, second by Wayne, that we adjourn till our May meeting. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Against? Motion carried, we're adjourned.